Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose from 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk again. Yesterday, you may have noticed our extensive coverage on Cyclospora. I spent 3.5 hours at Metro Health Hospital with experts in the infectious disease area answering your questions. One of the most reoccurring questions was, why hasn't the federal government, the FDA, tracked down the source, and how much longer do we think we would have to wait? Well, we may have our answer. Federal authorities overnight and this morning announcing that they have keyed in on a farm in Mexico, Taylor Farms, that does iceberg lettuce and is a major distributor to Taco Bell. Now, Taco Bell put out a statement yesterday that they are removing certain products and that they are doing so voluntarily. But it does appear that this is the first, at least, possible link to Cyclospora. It has made so many people sick in the state of Ohio and across 34 states as a possibility. And it should come as no surprise that within hours of that announcement, we see our first lawsuit in the state of Ohio has been filed. It's been filed on behalf of a man who lives in the Youngstown area, not far from here in Cleveland, over in just about an hour to our east. David Ott ate at Taco Bell not once, but twice. And in fact, I can show you his receipts here, June 18th, and then a second receipt from June 20th. And according to the lawsuit that has been filed on behalf of David, he apparently got sick about 2 days later to the point that he had to go to the hospital and was suffering for a couple of days in the hospital. But you don't have to take my word for it. We're going to welcome in Ron Simon from Ron Simon and Associates. Ron is the attorney that has filed the lawsuit for David Ott. Ron, thanks for joining us today. I'm sure you're busy.
Sure, glad to be here.
Let's talk about this on the surface. You've talked to David, obviously. Walk us through what he went through. He ate Taco Bell the 18th at the 20th. By the 22nd, what happened?
So he immediately started experiencing symptoms of cyclospora poisoning, which include watery diarrhea, severe abdomen pain, very painful cramping, nausea, vomiting, weakness, so much so that he had to be admitted to the hospital.
So they run the tests, and what do they come up with?
They run the test, and they did the specific test for Cyclospora parasite, which came up positive.
Was that a shock to David? What was his initial response?
He immediately wondered how he could have gotten and where he would have gotten it. And it wasn't until the CDC announced the outbreak that we finally figured it out.
And walk us through sort of that discovery. The CDC starts to look at this farm down in Mexico. It has ties to supplying lettuce to Taco Bell. He's got the digital receipts. Thank goodness for technology. You know, the receipt didn't end up in a fast food bag in the garbage somewhere. How did he start to piece this together?
So when the CDC came out a few days ago, they were talking about a burgeoning Cyclospora outbreak, basically in 5 states: Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and West Virginia. And he said, wait a minute, I ate at a Taco Bell in one of those states, Ohio. And so he called me. We started doing an investigation. And then last night, the CDC issued a report saying they had determined that the lettuce served in those 5 states at Taco Bell restaurants had come from one supplier. That supplier has later been reported by various news sources to be Taylor Farms, which is based in Salinas, California, and has growing fields in Mexico.
And is David Ott from Northeast Ohio?
He was on a business trip. He was from Texas and staying there in Youngstown, and the Taco Bell was right next to his hotel.
Yeah, welcome to Ohio. Wish we could have given him a better parting gift. Let's talk about a lawsuit. What is David looking for? What are the answers? Is there a monetary amount? What is he looking for?
Sure. So with any lawsuit, we're looking for 3 things. 1, to make sure that the plaintiffs are fully and fairly compensated. 2, we want to figure out exactly how the cyclospora got into the lettuce. And 3, we want to take steps to make sure that this never happens on our soil again.
So what does compensation look like for David Ott?
David Ott, we'll be asking a jury to tell us what they think his case is worth, but this is a guy that's been suffering for, upwards of 3 weeks. He's still suffering, still experiencing those symptoms because the cyclospora has not yet shed from his body. That's a very common problem with cyclospora poisoning. It doesn't shed easily like salmonella or other pathogens.
Give me your reaction, your comment. I have asked Taco Bell for a comment specific to this lawsuit. We have not heard back from their media team at this point. They put out a fairly generic statement yesterday saying that they are pulling some products from some states and stores in some states. You have the chance here to send Taco Bell a message if they happen to watch this. What do you want them to know on behalf of your client?
I think Taco Bell should come clean. Look, the CDC is linked into the outbreak. They need to make a statement and apologize to these people, if nothing else. The lawsuits will take care of themselves in terms of getting compensation for the plaintiffs, but these plaintiffs deserve an apology, and they deserve it right now.
Ron Simon with Ron Simon and Associates. We certainly appreciate the time. This is a story that continues to evolve. Do you see this turning into a class action lawsuit kind of thing?
You know, that's a great question. We handle individual lawsuits on behalf of each of our clients. We don't lump them into one group in a class action. That's just not how we do business.
Excellent. Great response. Anything else you want to share with us on this topic?
Yes. You know, when you go to a restaurant or a grocery store and you buy food as a consumer, you're placing a ton of trust in those companies that they've done everything they can to make sure that your food is safe. And that's because the consumer has no way of knowing if it's contaminated. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. And in this case, when that trust was placed on Taco Bell and Taylor Farms, they breached it, and now they're going to pay for it.
Excellent. Mr. Simon, we certainly appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us here on Channel 19.
You bet. Thanks so much.